December 2022 roundup, last month of 2022. I do feel like I acquired a lot of things in the month of December, and not because it was Christmas, just because I bought myself a lot of things, which is a very poor choice of month to buy yourself a lot of things in. But here we are. So I'm going to try and keep this quick. Full disclosure, this is the second time I'm filming this video. I filmed it, fully edited it, put in all the pictures that I needed to put in, and then it was 55 minutes long, which is great. Quality YouTube tarot tube content is great. I could watch it for hours, and I do watch people talk about tarot for hours. But I did say quality, and it was me rambling, which I'm doing right now. So we're going to get right into it. My card for the month of December, I only picked an oracle card, not any tarot cards for any particular reason, but I picked the Wise Men from the Yule Samhain Oracle. Still kind of analyzing that one and how it affected my life in the month of December. So that was interesting. The decks I used throughout December were obviously the Yule Samhain Oracle. I used that one quite a bit. I stuck with the Wild Unknown Tarot, the regular size, like I mentioned in November. I don't know, I'm just feeling that deck right now. So we stuck with that one, and then we used the Intuitive Night Goddess as well, a little bit towards the end. And I did make a YouTube video with my friends with a different video, which we'll get to in a second. So that's like the December roundup for cards that I had picked. Now, as far as decks, a general deck update, I was able to get rid of what I think is a decent number of decks in the month of December. So I've had a number of decks for sale on Virage Sale, on Facebook Marketplace for months now, and nothing, no hits, no bites, nothing. It was getting to the point where I was actually going to ask you guys how you sell your decks, because nobody was biting. And all of a sudden in December, I sold 7. So 7 decks total gone from my shelf, which I do feel like relief isn't exactly the right word, but I've made a new rule for myself, and it's if I am not passionate about a deck, I am not going to be keeping it, and I'm not going to be buying it. And that rule has helped me out. It has prevented me from purchasing at least a couple of decks that I can think of off the top of my head right now. And it's also helped me to purge these decks. So I was able to get rid of 7, and that felt good. Unfortunately, I did also acquire a number of decks in December. So that kind of offsets that, and whatever deck buying restraint I was able to have throughout the year, I basically blew it all in December. So I got rid of 7, and I think I acquired 4 in December. 1, 2, 3, 5. I got 5 in December. Ooh. And I have one on the way from an old Kickstarter from the spring. Anyway, okay. Well, the thing is, I am passionate about these decks that came to my shelf this year, this December. The first one, I'm trying to think of like the order I purchased them. So it would be the Kim Cran's Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I'm not gonna like flip through or whatever. We all know this deck, it's not new. This is a deck that was on and off my wish list multiple times throughout the whole year, and ultimately it came off the list because it was I'm not familiar with archetypes and the work done with 2 archetypes. So that's something that I'm going to have to work on and study and review and read about and blah, blah, blah. And I already have a number of other decks that I have to do this studying, reviewing with. So that's kind of why it came off the list, but it did come back on because I mentioned in my only 10 mass market decks that Danny Mystic has a shadow spread that she uses an archetype deck with, which she used the Wild Unknown. I really, really like that spread. And I don't know, I feel like the deck will be useful. And I actually did use it for my 2023 look out for card pick. So, and I got the animal, which that'll obviously be in January's video. But anyway, so I also, it should be noted, got $20 off. So that made it easier to buy it. I had a promotion with Chapters with renewing my like membership card through the bookstore, and I got $20 off in store and $20 off online. So that was my online one that I got $20 off. Yeah, that was reviewing. Anyway, it was $20 off. Then the next one I got $10 off from the same store, from Chapters. And that's the Kantaji Oracle. This was purchased, it first came to my attention through A Life Full of Simplicity's upcoming decks videos. So it went on my pre-order wish list on Amazon, came off, went on, came off. And ultimately I decided to do it because everyone is raving about this book, and someone had talked about how you can do a like solstice, you could start in the winter solstice and do a weekly card pull with it, because there's 52 cards in the deck. So you start with card 1 on the winter solstice, December 21st, and then every week you go card 2, card 3, card 4, all the way to card 52. So I'm doing that, and that's been going really well. I'm really excited. I was really looking forward to starting that. So that's going well. Typically I don't stick with anything, so we shall see how the rest of the 52 weeks goes, but I am enjoying it. So fingers crossed. I'm being picky about the order of these for a certain reason. So a Kickstarter deck I received in the month of I bought it in October. It came to me in December, is one that was on my wish list, came off because it was indie, it's expensive, but the creator did a like blitz Kickstarter. It was only like 9 days or 12 days or something like that. And the goal was to have, like, the decks were already done, already printed, whatever. She just wanted to get it to everybody for Christmas. And it was the mini version. She did like a mini thing. It was Push Kitty's mini invasion. So I got the little wizard. Very pumped. It was on my wish list, and I opted at the time to go with the HP Tarot, the black and white like drawings style one. But this one is just, it's more fun. It's more like cartoony, and it's not as like serious as the other one, which is fun. This deck has been around. Again, I'm not going to do like a full anything with it. But what I liked about it was this last half, this back chunk here that I've separated, that's all extra, well, not extra cards, but cards you can pick and choose from. So like you got 2 different justice cards, etc. There was lots of those. Like there was this many of those. And I think because of that, this deck was a little more expensive than the other mini decks that she had available. But it's also what also enticed me. And we got an extra card as well. So this is the extra card. I've removed this card just because I don't know how I would interpret that. Like it's, I don't know, it seems pretty ominous, pretty serious, and I just don't know if I want that energy in my life at the moment, but it's very thought-provoking. I don't know if you can read it. It says planned tragedy. I almost said planned strategy. So that's another deck that came onto my shelf in December, and it was actually fun. This is the one I did a YouTube reading with my friends, a private YouTube reading where we do pick a card readings. So I had 3 separate piles, and I went out and I got, for one pile there was Hermione's wand. For another pile we had the Mandrake. Super cute. I don't know if that'll focus. And then another pile we had the Time Spinner that Dumbledore lent to Hermione. So that was fun. A fun little pick with video. Yeah, so that was the only other deck that got used for the month of December, and it was just the one time. Okay, so now here's where I'm kind of switching up the order, I guess. Another deck I purchased in December. This was a big leap for me. The Ritual Tarot. Is it right side up? Yep. So it was a leap because it was expensive. First of all, it's the most expensive deck on my shelf. Also a leap because, don't come at me for this, but there's a big part of me that feels like I have no business owning this deck. I'm very early on in my tarot journey. There's no titles on this, which I love, BTW. And it's just very different from anything else I own. That's also kind of why I feel like I have no business owning it, because the aesthetic is very different. As I've mentioned in other videos, I'm finding that my tarot aesthetic is changing, so that might have something to do with it. But yeah, I thought about this deck long and hard. I actually was introduced to this deck when Garden Goddess Tarot, Thea, went to Greece, and she posted one of her daily readings on like Instagram, and it was one of these cards. And I saw it and I was like, what is that deck? I must know. Then I saw the price of it and I was like, I must not. So it was a no when I saw the price of it. I instantly was like, I will never be owning that deck. And then I made a financial sacrifice for about a month. It's a financial sacrifice that I should be making anyway, because this stuff, the things that I'm purchasing it's a waste of money anyway. But I decided not to spend money on this for the whole month, and then I bought the deck, and that just kind of justified buying it. I definitely saved up enough to purchase the deck. It was also on sale. It was only like 10 or 15% off. The Kantaji Oracle I got for $10 off as well, which also made it easy to buy. So this one was, I think I only saved somewhere between $10 and $14. The grand scheme of things, it's not that much. Shipping, I could do a whole other rant about shipping. It's making me feel rage. It's to the point where like I don't even want to buy indie decks anymore, because shipping is at least a third of the cost of the deck, and that's if you're lucky. Most of the time it's like half the cost of the deck. It's insane. Makes me feel rage. But anyway, so I got this deck. I will never not give this deck 5 stars. I need to preface this by saying this. I am a sucker for hard work, and when it's very clear that people did work very hard and did work very intentionally on something. There was a lot of thought and intention put into these cards, and that is very, very evident, very obvious from this deck. For that reason, 5 stars. I love this deck, and I love the imagery, the artifacts that were chosen for each card. Love it. Again, I'm not going to, we're not going to do a flip through. This deck is making its rounds. In the last few months, it's been quite popular, as it should be, in the Tarot Tube community, even on Instagram. It's right up there. I'm going to start this part of what I'm going to say by talking about edging this deck. So here's the backs. This lovely title card was included, and thank you for title cards for helping me choose how to edge a deck. So I always edge in black. Black is go-to, especially when the back of the card is bordered by black. It makes sense. That's what you do. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to tie in this goldy, bronzy brown color, and I wanted to edge the deck in something like that. So what I did was purchase some gold Sharpies from Amazon. So there was a number of gold Sharpies that I saw. This one seemed less yellow than the others. Bronze looked too orange for me. So this one, I mean, as much as you can tell from a screen photo, this one looked less yellow. So I bought this. It came in a pack of 2, which were basically, they were very dried out, very, very dry. So that was disappointing, but I did edge it on the title card. You can kind of see, oh, you can even see it on the front where it kind of went through over the edge, which isn't a big deal. Don't really care. But I'm going to post up a video. I liked how it looks when the light isn't hitting it, but once the light hits it and it picks up that metallic, it does look a little too yellow for what I wanted. I don't want like gold edging. I want, I don't know, like goldy brown, but not bronze at the same time. I don't know. So I was going to kind of go back to the drawing board, and then, don't hate me, I noticed something was happening with the deck, and I am heartbroken is a bit of an exaggeration, but I am disappointed that this is happening. It's chipping. The edges are chipping. And I knew that this was an issue with this cardstock. I had read the Etsy reviews where multiple people had said this. However, I have the second edition with the hard box, and it's my understanding that cardstock was changed in the second edition. So I thought maybe those reviews were pertaining to the first edition. Turns out they're not. So what happened was I did a very deep dive with this deck, and I'll show you. This is the notebook that I used. How awesome is this? This is a notebook I've had for many, many years. My sister went to Cambodia, came back with this for me. It is a recycled tire. Super awesome. Like, you can see the tread on it and everything. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to use it for. And here we are. This came and I was like, perfect. I love this idea. So what I did, studied, let's find a page. I kind of like drew a photo of the card, and then I wrote down a physical description of what I saw in the card. I'm not well versed when it comes to art, statues, all that kind of stuff, Greek mythology, not great at it. So I made the decision that I wasn't going to read the book that comes with it, and I wasn't going to research any of the things on the cards, because I didn't want the history behind those pieces or the meanings behind those pieces to influence my personal relationship with these cards that I want to build over the next couple of months. I will eventually research them because I do want to know. I'm dying to know. But I do want to build my own relationship with them first. Now, that being said, I have accidentally come across some card meetings, which we'll get to later with the next deck. But so I spent a very long time building a relationship with my deck review. Probably the most time I've ever spent in my life on a deck. And I had to practice so much restraint in doing this because I wanted to use the deck so badly, but I refused to do it before I was done my deep dive. Finally, I finished the deep dive and I start trying to shuffle it, and it's a new deck. You got to break them in. And my hands don't quite, I have I feel like medium-sized hands, and I can't quite grab the whole thing. And it's when you try and riffle shuffle, it's not super flexible. So I wanted to break it in a little. So while I was watching TV, I would riffle shuffle it a few times. And when I say a few, I don't know. Let's say it's definitely less than 20, but let's give the benefit of the doubt and say in total, I probably riffle shuffled this deck 20 times. And this started happening. And this, oh my gosh, heartbroken. And there is actually a piece of one of the cards where it's like a little flap. And I want to try and glue the little flap down. I don't think it's going to go well for me. Yeah, here it is here, which it's on the screen anyway, so I don't really need to show you guys. But I want to try and glue it. And yeah, so there's flap down and there's flap up. So anyway, long story short, this kind of has solidified the fact that I will be edging it in black, because at least I'll be able to go over those and fix some of them, hide them, not fix, hide. So yeah, I'll be doing that at some point. I'm going to be using a Crayola marker this time, which I have to go buy. So it's not on the immediate list of things to do, but be aware that that is something that happens with this deck if you're wanting to purchase it, and edge it in black. Know that that's a thing, that'll be a thing. Okay, on to my last deck that I purchased that made its way to me. So this deck I wanted for a really long time, very, very long time. And I actually, the day that I went to buy it, I was like, I'm doing it. I'm buying it today. Today's the day. It was no longer available. Turns out that day it was taken down from Make Playing Cards. And it's just funny that the day that I was ready to own the deck was not ready for me to own it. I contacted the creator and she told me not to fear, it will be back up in no time, and changes were being made and blah, blah, blah. And if you haven't guessed it, whoosh, that's the Hellenic Oracle. I got the revised edition, so the 100 card version, and I'm undecided about purchasing the expansion pack at this time. At this time, it's a no. Down the road, perhaps. I'm happy with this right now. This cardstock is heavenly, dare I say orgasmic. I literally will watch TV and just shuffle this, or just like, oh, it's almost therapeutic. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Funny story though, this cardstock is very flexible. Like you can bend the entire deck, no problem. And I was sitting here watching TV one night, and I'm almost afraid to do it. I was doing this because the whole deck wobbles, and that's such a, like, you can't, that's a weird feeling. I recognize that that's something very bizarre, and that's something only I would do. But I did it. And then, in case you don't know where this is going, I was doing it, and because these cards are so slippy slidey, an explosion happened. 100 cards exploded around me in my bedroom. Some landed on my heat register, which really made me panic because I thought, oh my gosh, like there's no way cards didn't fall down there. Like it absolutely happened. Turns out it didn't. So I did 100 pickup, and I counted 3 times to make sure I had all of the cards. Like some were in my garbage can. It was bad. I do kind of wish it was recorded though, because how funny would that be? So let's talk about, I have lots to say about the Hellenic Oracle, and this is what took the longest time in the first version of this video. My Greek mythology is rusty. I obviously know some basics. I think a lot of people know basics, but it's a little too rusty. I wanna get to know every individual on these cards, and then some sort of weird whistle just happened in my throat. And then I want to get into the divination meanings of it. So what I did to prep for this, when I got the deck, I watched all of Thea's unboxings or her personal showcasing of the deck, and I wrote down everything she said. I wrote it down in the order that she went. So I didn't do alphabetical, I just wrote it down in the order that she was going through the cards. My plan was to put everything in this book. Fox Fleur Creek also has the same kind of idea. So I wanted to give 1 page per card, or 1 like side per card. There's 64 pages, so 64 times 2, there's more than enough. So in Thea's videos, we have 6 full pages of information just from Thea's videos alone. Then what I started doing was watching Great Greek Myths on Amazon Prime. I was already watching this months and months ago. I made it to episode 12 of season 1, and then I knew I was going to be buying the Hellenic Oracle. So I stopped it and I was like, I'm going to restart from episode 1 once I get the Hellenic Oracle, and I'm going to start making notes and building my own personal book for it. So I started doing that, and that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of information. If you aren't familiar with it, or if you want to become familiar with it, Great Greek Myths on Amazon Prime is great. I have some issues with it, as you will probably have issues with anything. First of all, the first 2 episodes are basically dedicated to Zeus, and if you want to get your hate on for Zeus, highly recommend watching it. Also, if you want to get your hate on for the narrator, who defends Zeus's actions, end of episode 2, the narrator actually says, after all, he's just a man like the rest of us, in defense of his extracurricular activities, which include non-consensual activities. So that kind of irked me a little. Also, there's some, like, I think factual inaccuracies, as well as there's lots of different versions of certain stories, different lineage, different parentage, all that kind of stuff. And this show doesn't really acknowledge it. They just kind of like picked one version and they ran with that version. I do kind of wish they would have acknowledged that there's some discrepancies, but I don't think that would have made it as interesting. So anyway, they did that. One thing I love about Great Greek Myths is while the narrator is talking, there's lots of artwork popping up. I love seeing the artwork. And he also links the stories to the constellations, which I love hearing about, because the constellation Lyra, or the star Lyra, it's one of the brightest ones at certain times of year where I am. And now I know the story that goes along with it, it's a sad story mostly. Well, yes, it is. But now I know the story behind it. They've also linked in Capricorn. They also linked in Taurus. So that's where we are so far in the series. But in showcasing those art pieces, that is where I've been like, hey, I recognize that. And I couldn't just leave it alone. So one of them is on the star card of the Ritual Tarot. So this painting pops up. I'm not going to talk about it in case you're like me and don't want any of the art to influence your opinions. But yeah, curiosity killed the cat. I had to do it. I had to look it up. That is the star card, right? Yes. The star and the moon are a little bit confusing in this deck. Star card. I did say star card. So bringing it back to the Hellenic Oracle. So what I did, bringing it back to my tire book, since these decks are tying in so well with each other, this is the Ritual Tarot, and then I had all of this left. So I was like, I'm going to do the Hellenic Oracle in this book. I've been struggling with how I want to structure my study book. Initially, I was like, just alphabetical, A to Z, alphabetical. Then I was like, no, I want to do primordial gods first and do those alphabetical. That's my symbol for that. And then I want to do Titan gods and do those alphabetical. And then I want to do Olympians and do those alphabetical, and then other. And then I went back to doing it alphabetical. So this book is alphabetical, A to Z. And I'm going to highlight. You can kind of see that I've done some of it here. I feel like I'm going to, in this book, highlight, have a different color for the primordials, have a different color for the Titans, different color for the Olympians, and then I don't know how I'm going to structure a color for the other category. But that's where I'm at with that. If you're making a Hellenic Oracle book, I would love to hear how you're doing it. Another thing, oh, this is starting to get lengthy again. Here we go. Another thing I started doing to research for the Hellenic Oracle is listening to Let's Talk About Myths, Baby by Liv Albert. It is a podcast. I am obsessed. I love her. She does have Greek mythology books, plural, I believe, which I will probably eventually own, but I feel like I'm getting enough information from these resources so far, so it's fine. She's great. Liv Albert. I found the podcast Instagram page. I think it's just called Myths Baby. Love it as well. So I listened to the first episode, and I actually think I'm gonna put that one on a back burner and finish the Great Greek Myths first. I just have too much going on. I'm currently in the process of transferring all of the information from here into here, which I didn't think would be that big of a deal. This will be day 3 of doing that, and I'm starting to actually get annoyed with it. So hopefully I'll be finished today doing all of that, and then I get to start over. I haven't watched any episodes of Great Greek Myths in a couple days because I've been doing this, and I wanted to get this book done first so that I can easily flip to the page to make notes. That's that. Now we're on to just like general shopping, general December purchases. Now that we've got through the decks and through my study issues, first of all, let's just talk about Christmas. I don't have a lot. I didn't really get a lot for Christmas from anybody that's like tarot. Actually, I didn't really get anything tarot related, but I will show you what I got. So I went with the Moonology planner. I told my friend to get this for me. She needed ideas. So this is the tried, tested, and true one for me. This is my 3rd year of owning it. So I figured for a moon planner, I would stick with what I know. And then for my office desk, like my physical office, not my home office, I wanted a wall calendar, a moon wall calendar. So this one it's the Old Farmer's Almanac, amazing lunar lore, facts, and images. I mostly got it for the images. Pretty. There was a lot of options that I was researching. Ultimately, I went with this one. So that's that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy for the Christmas gifts. Let's talk about a Peggy bag. I did buy one. I bought this Peggy bag, and I don't know if it's picking it up, but it does kind of have a gold shimmer. And I thought it went really, really well for the Ritual Tarot. That's why I purchased it. I wanted a deck, or a deck bag, rather, that just kind of, I don't know, this needs gold. I feel like it needs gold. Like, that goes, right? Let's try to, yeah. It was right. It was right. So I got that Peggy bag, and if we put the deck in the box in it, this is a standard size Peggy bag, and it fits perfectly. So I'm obsessed with that. That was a great purchase in my opinion. Another thing I purchased in December. This is a great purchase. I don't know if I saw other people doing this. I don't know how I got this idea, but it's a remote caddy, like a TV remote caddy. Now it's jingling because I have all of my oils in this section, which this is going to change. I don't want to keep all my oils in here, but I just don't have anywhere else to put them, and they're just kind of like in disarray on my nightstand. So I do, probably the Hellenic Oracle will end up going in here, but I just spoiled it. I'm putting decks in it. So I was realizing that my bed at night is kind of like covered in one half, and it's like tarot decks and tarot study books and notes and pens and whatever. I was like, I don't really like that. So I wanted to have something that would keep my decks at hand. So here we have the Ritual Tarot and, well, the Hellenic Oracle. I haven't actually tried to put it in here, but I can even put the expansion pack in there and it'll be fine. But what's in there now is my Dimitri bag that has the Wild Unknown regular size in it, because I've been working, as I said, with this. So it goes in the middle. So this is on my nightstand, and it just kind of is a nice little, again, I will figure out something with my oils. Speaking of oils, I did also get oils for Christmas, sage oils. So this is sage, this is head cold, but for Christmas I got a little pocket pharmacy, they call it. So a bunch comes with it. And the two that I really liked were Reflection and Connection. So you can just kind of, like I put them on this part of my hands. Reflection, when I'm like reading cards for myself, I'll put it on this part of my hands, and you're supposed to put it on the palms and do this, but like when I'm touching my tarot cards, I don't want to leave like oily prints everywhere. So I put it on the back of my hands. And then Connection, I wanted, you know, whenever I'm connecting with the tarot community, which should have been right now, although oh, there it is right here. Oh, that's Reflection. I almost just messed it up. Would have ruined everything. So Connection, here we are connecting. Love it. I know people have feelings about the sage oils, but I love them for things like that. Peppermint Halo. Oh, where are my headache people at? It is a necessity. It's a lifesaver. I have Peppermint Halo everywhere. Purse, car, desk, nightstand, everywhere. Okay. Remote caddy. Excellent idea. I just got it on Amazon. It also comes in black. I ordered the brown because the black wouldn't be here until like mid-January, which is ridiculous. So I wanted it now. So I got it now. Also, before I forget, because it's just kind of sitting here and I forgot the first time I filmed this video, I was at my grandma's for Christmas, who lives up north, middle of nowhere, quite literally. And this is something that I've seen there. This is something that's just always been there. Always been at my grandma's. And this time I was like, I'm going to ask her if I can take that and use it as a tarot cloth. This is just like, how perfect. There is some damage. Oh, it's down here. You can see maybe. But I love it. And I asked her like where it came from, and my mom, because my mom had said, you know, that's been around as long as I've been around. My mom is my grandma's daughter-in-law. My dad has passed away. My dad was an only child, so my grandma is my father's mother, not my mother's mother. So my mom had said that's been around as long as like I've been dating your son. Turns out it was my grandma's grandfather's. This thing is we figured it's at least 70 years old, and that's lowballing it. It's probably way older than 70 years old. But no, it would be my grandma's father. So my great grandfather. That makes more sense. But it's just stunning. Like, look at it. Look at it. Ah. And I have posted some Instagram videos, or pictures with it. So if you recognize it, that is why. What else? Oh, I went to the Cove in Port Perry. Cute little store. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite metaphysical shops. I bought some beeswax candles. I have a sauna in my house, which I rung in the new year in the sauna because I thought it was very, I just lost the word. It was a nice metaphor to be sweating out 2022, sweating out the old to bring in the new. And anyway, we have a light in the sauna, obviously, as you do, and this light is assaulting. It is so bright. So I burn candles, and I burn the little metal tea lights. They don't last very long, and they aren't very bright. So that's what these fellas are for. I got a couple of the tea lights. I haven't had the best of luck with these. I find they drown themselves. So we'll see. But I also got this jar, which I need to wash. It's a little cloudy looking. And this is going to go on my reading space just because I'm trying to get away from actual candles. I don't like the soot they're leaving everywhere. Like our ceilings have like black spots, my ceiling fan, our blinds. So I am trying to get away from them. However, sometimes aesthetically and just energetically, it's what you need. And I don't want to set my tarot decks and stuff on fire. So that's why I got that. Also, the cutest thing in the entire world was purchased. This little mushroom, it's clay, thimble necklace. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I probably won't wear it as a necklace. I might put it, like hang it from my car, or I might take the string off and just set it on my reading space. Adorable. Okay, that brings us to the very last purchase / tarot bucket list update. Very, very excited about this. I purchased a 90s roll top desk. It is oak, and I found it on Facebook Marketplace. What happened was this was being listed multiple times, and it would just sell. It kept selling. Or it was too far away. Like one was in Quebec and one was in Prince Edward County, which is 2 hours away from me. Quebec is a whole other province from me, or a province over. So finally this one came up. It came up again. I don't think they're that tricky to get your hands on because at least 3 of them have now popped, 4 of them actually have now popped up in Facebook Marketplace. It was listed for a little more than what I wanted to pay. I got her down 25 bucks. Would have been nice to get her down a little more, but it was something that I wanted. I didn't want to let it go. I lost the others so far, so I didn't want to let this one go. And here we are, I own it. And it's going to be my new tarot reading space. So the goal is to get it in my room, have it in my room. This is where I do all of my stuff. All of the things are here. It's where I feel comfortable reading. Right now it's on our main level because we were going to put it in the basement for the time being because I can't fit it in my room. Then we didn't know how to get it downstairs, so we kept it on the main level, which actually works because we have other oak furniture on the main level, so it fits. But I have a dresser in my room that the goal is to get rid of. One drawer is broken, it is empty. However, there are 2 other drawers fully stuffed with clothing, and then there's a whole like shelving unit. I'm looking at it. There's a whole shelving unit on top of it that's full of stuff. So it's the goal to have this out by spring and then move that up here so I can do my readings here. Now, that being said, it doesn't hold as much as I was mentally picturing in my head, but aesthetically it is stunning. And in my tarot bucket list video, one of the things I wanted was a dedicated reading space, and now I have it. So unfortunately at the moment it's on the main level of the floor, which is not very private. There's all kinds of happenings. We still have a landline and there's a phone very close to it that rings a lot. So if I want to film or if I'm trying to concentrate, it's not going to happen very well. I might have to do it at night. Natural lighting is great down there though, but during the day filming might not be happening. Obviously, it's the main level of the home. There's a living room, there's a kitchen, there's a dining room where people eat. So we'll deal with that for a couple of months until spring. That's fine. I'm very, very excited about this purchase, and I don't know if I'm going to refinish. Is that the word I'm looking for? I'll pop up a photo here I found on Pinterest of someone else's refinishing of the exact same model. It looks beautiful, but it looks like a lot of work. And I don't refinish anything. I'm not a refinisher. I would probably wreck it, to be honest. But oak isn't exactly in right now. So I don't know. We'll see. Those are like way, way, way down the road ideas. But I'm very excited for this. I've been excited to show you guys and share it with you guys. So now I can actually, I've been kind of hiding it in my Instagram post. I picked it up, oh gosh, I don't even know. It was after Christmas, I think, like between Christmas and New Year's. So I've been doing some Instagram posts, but trying to keep it out a little. And I will probably do like an Instagram reel of like before when it had nothing in it, and then after when it's got my stuff on it. And this looks like it was made for it. So that's the December update. And I just kind of wanted to do a little gratitude piece bit at the end and just say how thankful I am for this community. And I honestly don't know where I would be or what I'd be doing if it weren't for tarot in general, but also Tarot Tube and all the interactions that I have with you guys on tarot on YouTube is what I'm trying to say, and Instagram are a joy. I really do love watching everyone else's content. It's inspiring, but also it's just so nice to, I'm going to say, connect with like-minded people. I don't feel like we're not obviously physically connecting, but to hear you all talk about all the same things, and like even Rose Honey Ritual talked about how she could listen to Thea's videos of her Hellenic Oracle on repeat. Same. Like it's just so nice to hear like-minded people. Like it's been great. And like I said, I don't know where I'd be without you guys. I don't know what I'd be doing. All these passions that tarot has reignited in myself that I didn't know was possible. Like, you know, studying with the Hellenic Oracle and studying with the Ritual Tarot. Not just studying, but drawing. I drew those cards, most of them. I did eventually give up. I think I neglected to mention that. So, you know, I was drawing them, and then I was starting to get really impatient and bailed on that. I drew the ones I wanted to draw later on. But yeah, I'm drawing. I'm learning Greek mythology. It's fantastic. I love it. And I love you guys. So thank you for inspiring me, for watching me, even if you're not someone who makes content. Also, thank you. Thanks for giving me a reason to do this. Time is money, and you sitting here watching these videos means the world to me, even though I'm sitting here talking to myself, which is kind of weird at times, but it definitely makes it worth it knowing that people are actually watching and they actually get something out of your content. So thank you, and Happy New Year, and enjoy the rest of your day.